Hey guys, this is Aegis, and this is a game between CombatEX, the Red Protoss player, and MGDropin, our Blue Terran player. Good luck, have fun comes out of Dropin. And CombatEX over here, no response. Of course, I'm not sure if this is the real CombatEX, but I guess it might be. We'll see how well he plays in this game and what he does to determine whether or not this is the real CombatEX. So of course, MGDropin from Mobility Gaming, as the Terran player, will be walling off at the front. I guess he knows he's playing against CombatEX and should be watching for some sort of cheese eventually. Maybe checking around the inside of his base, walling off early to get that unit there to be able to spot for any probes, trying to sneak in, maybe scout the edges of his base as well. CombatEX going to be critter boosting some probes, which is really strange for CombatEX. Looks like he is actually making everything normal as of this point. His probe does pop out, throws down the gateway, and will be moving out to scout. Looks like it is headed cross map, hitting both watchtowers and then headed straight for this base over here. We'll be checking those watchtowers in case his opponent is cheesing. And the barracks coming up for Dropin, as well as the refinery. Looks like he's not going to be looking to throw too many buildings up at the front, as the Stalkers can get a pretty good concave at the bottom of this ramp. I'm a little surprised that both of these players are actually playing on this map, but as of this moment, because this map has got this horrible natural expansion, because it's just impossible to hold. There's an little entrance over here. This gate here is gigantic. There's one that goes down to the third base, and there are rocks at the third base that can also get broken down. It looks like CombatEX's probe will be crossing paths with this SCV shortly. And the Marine will be moving to the front to help deny any sort of scouting. Second barracks coming up for Dropin, as well as a reactor on the first barracks. And surprisingly, he hasn't actually scouted the inside of his base. Maybe he knows this is not the real CombatEX then. We do have a cybernetics core now on the way finished for CombatEX, and the essential warp gate tech on the way. Looks like a probe will be throwing down a pylon in this area just to make sure that he can spot any sort of drops trying to fly into these brush area, and maybe dropping off in this little corner over here. An SCV is idle for MGDropin. He needs to get this guy back to work as soon as possible. The Marine is going to be guarding the front SCV, returning back to work, and a tech lab now on the way. And it looks like the probe is scouting the edge over here, going to be doing some patrolling action just to see whether or not the command center will be coming up anytime soon. 3 Marines up at the front for Dropin right now, still making some SCVs and getting the concussive shell upgrade. Looks like he may be going for a little bit of an early push. CombatEX actually going for a one gate expand, so that Nexus is now on the way, going to be throwing up additional gateways to help defend this expansion. And seeing as his opponent may be doing this really quick push, this may not be the best idea. He does have the probe scouting for the natural expansion, but this push may be coming out really soon. Going to be pausing the Marine production for a moment. Another Marauder is going to pop out, and we'll probably see Dropin push out with this. Looks like Dropin will be moving out across the field right now. Additional Marines will be following with this attack as well. And CombatEX is only now finishing the Warp Gate tech. He only has 1 sentry out for defense, and this could actually end the game. Dropin is doing essentially the counter to everything that CombatEX has done so far. CombatEX's Nexus is going to finish up, and some probes are also going to be transferring over. A couple more units going to be spawning here for CombatEX, but this push over here with the concussive shell will be able to do a lot of damage. SCV leading the charge as well, going to be throwing up a bunker at the front. Guardian Shield coming up, and it looks like the Marines and Marauders now focusing down one of those sentries, as well as the Zealot. Looks like the sentry does fall. Another Stalker trying to get warped in. Looks like it falls as well. And the SCV for the bunker has actually been picked off. Another Zealot falling. and the Stalkers also getting targeted. That single Zealot getting killed off as well. The two Stalkers are the only ones remaining trying to hold the line. Additional units are coming across the map for Dropin, but he is taking the time to make a natural expansion. It looks like another Zealot does fall. More Stalkers warping in. CombatEX losing a lot of units over here, and his natural expansion is not mining as well as he wants it to. Looks like he does get the surround on one of those Marauders and kills it off. Looks like the probes will be trying to block for these units over here. It looks like the Marauder will be able to take out yet another, another Zealot now warping in, and another Marine getting into the fray. Another Marauder arrives, and the probe's getting pulled off the line once again. Another Stalker will fall if he focuses it down. Looks like there it falls down, and Dropin will be making his way up to the front. I don't actually like this decision to run up into the main, as this is where most of the probes are, and Dropin can actually keep a couple of units down there and definitely pick off that natural expansion, but instead he's going to opt to fight inside the main. Looks like he will be able to take out a couple more units here. Stimpack now finishes for Dropin, and surprisingly he actually hasn't rallied that many more units across the map as of this moment. A couple are hanging out at home. Factories now coming up for Dropin. Will be able to get those units up. Factory units out real soon, and possibly go for yet another push, another gateway coming up for CombatEX. Dropin could have definitely won that game over there if he continued to macro straight with all of his barracks rallied forward, but instead he is going to opt to get a little bit more ahead by taking his natural expansion. Right now also getting up a ton of production facilities. SCV is now transferring over to the natural expansion. Tech Lab and Reactor coming up on these two barracks, as well as a starport on the way, and a reactor on the factory. CombatEX moving his Stalkers into the center of the map, and also building a pylon over here. Not sure what he actually aims to do, as Dropin is getting really close to seeing this. I actually think if he takes a gas geyser, he will be able to see this and kill it off. And CombatEX throwing up another gateway, as well as two more gateways coming up. So he is going up to 6 gateways and a robo facility. I guess it's because he didn't get his natural expansion quickly enough. He decided to just go for this 6 gate rather than playing catch up. CombatEX telling Dropin that he doesn't know why he made that pylon. Dropin's units did spot that. And it looks like the gas coming up at the natural expansion as well. Medevacs will soon be on the way. Dropin's gas is getting a little bit high, which he needs to get down right away. We also have a missile turret on the way, just in case there are any desperation DTs. And if we just look at the food count, Dropin is already at 78 food, 10 food ahead of his opponent. Another pylon coming up for CombatEX. And he's not going to be in a good shape for the late game here. He does have not very many workers at the natural expansion, no longer making any in the main. So he is all in as of this point, which is generally really CombatEX-like. If you don't mind me saying that. It looks like we have the probe scouting forward. It does get taken out really quickly with those two bunkers in place. Don't think CombatEX can actually break this with this army, so don't really like if he had a decision to move forward here, but instead Dropin is going to be advancing. He needs to throw down perfect force fields to slice that army in half. Looks like it does not happen, and Dropin easily overrunning a ton of those Zealots. And CombatEX is going to be retreating and advancing. Once again, I don't like this decision at all. There are 2 bunkers back there. There's a medevac in the air healing all of those units up. The stim pack does go down, and more medevacs are out now. And CombatEX opting to continue to push forward with additional Terran units now being rallied forward. The stim pack going down once again. CombatEX GG's out of this game. That's really odd, so I don't know if this is actually CombatEX anymore. I don't believe it, but it does look like Dropin taking a really clear victory here, doing a very nice 2 barracks pressure in the beginning against that one Nexus, first, or 1 gateway Nexus build, and especially with the Nexus after gateway build. Protoss doesn't really have too many units, so it's also a great way of scouting. So MGDropin taking this game very easily, but he does need to watch his macro a little bit. His barracks aren't actually producing as of this moment, and neither is his starport, and he's up to 1,200 money. Of course, as of this point, he doesn't know that he's won, but he does need to watch his macro a little bit in the future. And yeah, this is Aegis, signing off.